Hello, everyone. I am Gary Gazzo. Happy holidays. Happy New Year's Eve. And welcome to Race First coverage of Round 3 of the U.S. Open Wheel B Dallara IR18 Series Championship of Season 1 2023. Coming to you from one of the most iconic road circuits in all of the world, Spa. Joining me for expert analysis in the booth today, he is my IndyCar teammate and regular participant in the Indy Fix Series, coming to us live from Mexico City. It's Antonio Estrada, and also joining us, he is our track expert. He is worldwide Mr. Biggs, Dean Hopkin. Guys, well, sadly, this is our last race that we're going to be on for a while here. Hoping to go out on a high note, though. And looking at this lineup, we got a pretty decent lineup, a not so bad strength of car or strength of field number. What do you think so far starting this off, Antonio? What are your thoughts on who we see in the lineup already today?
All right. Hello there, Gary. Hey, Dean. How's it going? Yeah, well, our last race, at least in the foreseeable future. But, I mean, this is a great place. Of course, not necessarily a historic IndyCar location.
No.
but a great track nonetheless. One of the most beautiful, most scenic, and most iconic tracks in all of motorsports. We have a great lineup here. We have, it's like you said, not necessarily the highest SOF that we've seen, but we have a lot of real heavy hitters. We have Kevin Burrell, we have Will Lyon, Adam Blocker, Jesper Orman. We can also see Chris Wilhelm, Rashad Craig. So we have a lot of heavy hitters, and they're going to be fighting really tooth and nail over here. Something that I was looking at is that the setups can be wildly different here. You can run with a lot of downforce and be super fast during the corners, or you can roll with low downforce and be super fast on the straight. So we're gonna see comers and goers, people moving from one place to another. There are also gonna be different strategies with the tires. I think we're on for a great race.
Hey, Dean, you're kind of the track expert here. What do you think about Indy cars at Spa?
Well, you're in the heart of the Formula One land, of course, with this classic track that's been around for quite some time. It's absolutely amazing to see the Indy cars here. They should actually, if of course they could get their way into Europe at some point in the future, it would be fantastic, because the DRS is almighty and powerful down the Camel Straight. And with the push-to-passes that you have in Indy, and you got to select those to your wise. I've seen it before a couple of races. It's absolutely fantastic. Lots of overtaking opportunities, as I mentioned, down Camel Straight, into La Combe, into La Source, as well into the first corner. It's a bus stop if you're bold and brave, is another one. As, you can see some of the drivers will be approaching at high speeds, and that pit lane entrance, of course, is just absolutely tricky. You can get that run wrong big time, put it in the fence, it could be game over. But yes, absolutely amazing, mate. It's good to see these cars here for the final time this season. Cheer.
Yeah, that pit in is about as dangerous as pit in at Barber with that 90-degree turn. Another pit in that's pretty dangerous on the IndyCar schedule. Laguna Seca has another one of those pit in entrances that are cause you to do a 90-degree turn to hit pit road there. But 3 minutes 35 seconds left here in qualifying. Adam Blocker on the pole here, a provisional pole, a 152.8. Let's see what we got else here in the lineup. We have Josh Brain, P2 provisionally at a 154 flat. Jesper Orman just came in with a 152.2. Kevin Burrell to the top of the charts with a 152.8. 858 versus Blocker's 152.891. Lion in there, just checking in the P3 provisionally at 153.103. Now, I did a little bit of research, Dean, and you can back me up on all this stuff. So, obviously, we talked about IndyCar. It's never raced here for real. They have got into Europe. Some kart races and some older USAC races actually did make some appearances on some Formula One Europe courses. Or Europe courses, Formula One courses in Europe, excuse me. But IndyCar has never raced here at Spa. We've seen them a number of times here, whether in the FIS or in IIS competition and here on the sim. So that's about the only time we'll probably see, but maybe someday we'll see the IndyCars here. Who knows? As far as I know, the unofficial track record, the qualifying record, and everybody goes by the race record as the official qualifier or the official race speed record. But just to give you a comparison of what these Indy cars are doing versus Formula One, Lewis Hamilton holds the unofficial track qualifying record, the 141.2 set in 2020. So these Indy cars are about 10 seconds off that pace. So Dean, Michael Schumacher has the most wins here at 6, I understand. But there are some IndyCar drivers that started in Formula One and went to IndyCar, or vice versa, that have some wins here. Nigel Mansell, Michele Alboreto, Mario Andretti, Emerson Fittipaldi, Jackie Stewart, and the father of Thomas Scheckter, but the father of Thomas Scheckter. This really doesn't count, but this is just a family thing. Jody Scheckter each enjoyed one win here, but primarily this has been owned by the great German himself. Yeah. Obviously, is it too far away from where he grew up to in Germany? So it's one of those tracks that you do want to master. Of course, you could. You get your way around. It's the longest track in the Formula One calendar. It's 7 kilometers. I know you guys are in the Imperial system, but it's just over 7,001 meters. Wouldn't be allowed in a modern Formula One track these days because it goes over the limit. But it'd be interesting to see the IndyCars, of course, stretch their way around here. And we are predicting, what, give or take, around lap 13 or 13, 14, yeah, 13 laps, or 14, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to depend on what they're running. If they're starting on the reds, they're probably going to be pitting a little earlier. If they're starting on the blacks, they're going to be taking that sprint a little longer and then wrap it up with the soft char, the soft compound. But yeah, around lap 13, you could even go as far as saying like lap 7 or 8. You can pit in and be done for it, but then you gotta take care of your chars still. Yeah, the seven. Yeah, Kevin Burrell, 152.8 on top of the timesheets. Blocker, 152.891. So you're talking about this the circuit length. You said 7K, which is 4.3 miles, which actually puts us longer than Road America. Road America is right at 4 miles, so this is about a third of a mile longer than Road America. But the times are roughly about the same, give or take. But looks like qualifying is provisionally done. And now it's time to take a look at the grid as we start off our final race here as part of I'm just going to say the Indy Open Strength to Field broadcast for the foreseeable future. Indeed it is, Gary. But yeah, let's go out in a high note. So starting from the pole with a blistering fast lap time, it's Kevin Burrell with a 152.8. followed by Adam Blocker with a 152.8 as well. Just a couple of tenths of hundredths of difference between those two. Then in row 2 we can find Will Lyon joined by Robert Maleska. RM3 is going to be there both with a 153.1 and 2 respectively. Then we have in row 3 Rashad Craig joined by Josh Brain starting P6. Row 4, Jesper Orman and Zachary Hubler. In row 5, we can find Chris Wheelheight and Daniel Hernandez. Row 6 is Christian Nalepa and Olivia Hayward. Row 7, Charles Bertrand and Lucas Einkemer. Row 8. It's Rob Unkelnix and Dave Gradle. And in row 9, it's Charlie Gray and Santiago Monente, who didn't set a lap time. So 18 cars, a little bit of pace difference between the top, top 5 and maybe the rest of the field. So some folks like Chris Wheelheight, they have quite a bit of work to do. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch that mid-pack battle also.
Let's take a look at who's on what tires, and as a couple are starting to load in finally here. Looks like we might only have one taker on the Reds. Lucas Eichenberg on P14 might be the only one going to start on the alts. Everyone else seemed to be going to conventional thinking and going with the primes. The pace car is underway. It's a short lap here, or the short formation lap here at Spa. So on the front row, a power slide and IAR. Second row, power slide and IAR. So IAR power slide rivalry continues even here into the final race of the Indy Open Strength of Field broadcast that we'll be bringing you here on Race First. A lot of these drivers immediately after this are going to be hustling off on the old virtual jets. Ooh, blocker blinking. That's not good. On the virtual jets over to Michigan for their US 500 to close out yet another 500 miler. They're getting ready to go green. Rolling start.
Yeah, keep an eye out down into turn 1. It's going to be very, very interesting. He's going to go flying. Flat out, Kevin should get away with this one pretty easy because he's a bit of a mastermind around Spa. And who goes a little bit deeper? That was Adam Blocker going a little bit too deep into turn 1.
Yeah, lost another position to Will Lyon. Will Lyon move him up to P2. So we go IAR, power slide, up the hill.
Now, Camel
especially on cold tires.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dean, but yeah, in cold tires especially. Art Rouge and Radion are very, very tricky. So great job by all these guys by getting there super cleanly.
So good through Lacombe, which is interesting. I hope you guys know all the corner names to this track coming out to Brussels. Big hairpin right now. You can get it right spot on the power. There's a little bit of a movement at the back. Don't expect too much just yet. Nobody, as far as I know, has a couple of push to pass are used in midfield, but so far so good.
Sean Craig trying to get around RM3 there. RM3 kind of a little bit of a buffer to his teammate, the blocker there in P3. Malechka in 4th. Craig in 5th. Craig trying to get around Malechka here. And we got blocker moving to the inside of Will Lyon. And he, side by side, hasn't quite pulled that pass off yet. Lyon forces blocker wide.
Yeah, trying to go side by side through campus is always very, very dangerous, climbing up to the top of the hill and then go all the way flat now, down Bludgemont, and then make your way down to the bus stop chicane. He gave it a little bit of a think about it, but had to back off, of course, and went off track a little bit. Live to see another day is a good way to go when you're early in a race right now.
Early in a race, 21 laps. You got a long way to go still here, even though it seems like a low number. Blocker to the inside. And this is a continuation of yesterday's battle from the Friday broadcast.
Pretty much, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, Will Lyon is not going to be giving Adam Blocker any room this time by.
It's a flying Scotsman, mate. You don't mess with them in a motor vehicle. They are very, very quick. Yeah, but you got to be careful, Kevin. I've seen Kevin as a mastermind around this track. He has practiced it a lot before in the past. If he gets up the road, he's going to be very, very unstoppable. So Will probably knows that right now and tries to keep within range, striking range, of course. Now we're starting to use those push to passes down the Camel Straight. That's a great overtaking opportunity into Lacombe, as I mentioned. But at the moment, he is starting to gain a little bit on Kevin. So Kevin's going to be looking more in his mirrors.
Ooh, Blocker drives it in deep and gets super close to the back of Will Lyon there.
Yeah, the first 6 guys had some sort of off or something, or an X, some sort of incident point probably an off. And the race times were not allowed for that first six positions. The first clean lap is Jesper Orman back in P7.
Yeah, the thing is that the off tracks are so strict over here. I mean, and it makes sense, but you're probably going to be sending it no matter what to keep close with these guys. I saw the results from some of the other races, and most of the guys had around 8 or 9 incident points, and of course it was not because of incident with other cars, but just by driving in too deep. They're very close here. That's for the lead, Virel, Lion, and Blocker. It's also, they need to be careful because Blanchimont here seems like something that you can easily flat foot through it, and you can. But if you get the angle just a tiny bit wrong, it's going to spin the car out.
And there was a massive accident back early on lap 1. Charlie Gray lost it, climbing up through a Rouge, smashed straight in the wall. He's okay, luckily out of the virtual car. Heavy impact. And further on too, Santiago had a little bit of an off-track moment, as well as somebody else, I believe, Rob, has just recently had an off-track moment on lap 2.
Euglenix there, yeah. He's normally an oval guy.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I was racing this yesterday, and I mean, I did decently, but it's not my element. Blocker getting really close to Lion.
Yeah, she's parking that car right in the difficult place to overtake him. Forcing him around the outside, and Adam gets it done. What an overtake. That's the classic overtaking place you need to do. Textbook on cue, but also what goes around comes around.
Yeah. And now...
Yeah, and Maleska and Rashad, they're there. I mean, the top 5, the top 6, actually, I mean, they're really close to each other still.
Yeah. Now let's take a look at P6. There's Josh Brain there in that Marcus Ericsson livery that won the Indy 500 there. For Target Chip, well, not Target Chip Ganassi, but just Chip Ganassi Racing now. Old habits die hard.
Man, it was, yeah, that lasted so long. I always called it Target Chip Ganassi Racing because that was it. That was the name for, you know, my entire childhood.
19 to go, 3 of 21. Pit stops are going to be busy down at pit road, of course, with everybody, as you can see, electing start right now on the primary tyres. Just one of those drivers you mentioned of Lucas on the alternative. So the interesting thing is going to be who's going to be jumping in first. Kevin, of course, is being leading the race. He's the one that has to, if he goes in, other people can follow him. So he has to kind of make that decision of whether or not he can stretch it out another lap or two.
Well, Eichemer has not really classified on those alternate tires at all. Only up one position, up to 13th, as he is running down Bertrand there in P12.
And the alternates, they're really fast for around 2 laps, like really fast. And then they don't necessarily fall off a cliff, but they kind of plateau a little bit with how the performance is with the primaries. So this makes total sense. You have pretty much the entire field going to the primaries, making them last as long as they can, and then use that alternate set once you have around 7 laps to go to put a couple of super blazingly fast lap times and be done with it. As for Lucas, who is the only one on the alternates, he's going the other way around. So sure, you can try and do it, but you're not going to get as much benefit because of the entire fuel cell already. And Adam Blocker is now really hounding Kevin Burrell there for the lead.
Had a pretty good battle back there for 9th between Hubler and Daniel Hernandez. Daniel Hernandez in that Alonso, the Alonso livery, Renault livery there. Got a couple of Formula One liveries here. We got go back further in the lineup here. Who else we got? Bertrand, I think I saw Bertrand. He was in a Petronas livery, sporting I think Sebastian Vettel's helmet. So just all over the place there, Formula One.
Yeah, Gary at the moment there. Adam's really applying some pressure on here. Something's going wrong with Kevin. There's also
and here comes Robert Molechka.
Yeah, because Kevin's had to actually use a push to pass earlier to try to defend. I wonder if he's going to use one again soon, because what a launch that's coming very thick and fast all of a sudden at the back of Kevin.
Yeah, Malechka's now on the move. He's now looking to the backside of Lyon. Apparently, whatever issue Burrell had kind of shrunk up that whole accordion, and between first and fourth, all of a sudden became a battle for pretty much one position if someone could move there.
So Kevin did breathe to see another day. Adam, under that pressure from Adam, has to do it all over again. Will and Robert. That's your battle for P3 and P4. Look at the push to passes at the moment that Christian's using down there in P11.
They are halfway through their allotment. This is not Mario Brothers or Mario Racing.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Kevin Burrell using that push pass, that's a net gain for Blocker.
And Christian Nelva into the backside of Daniel Hernandez up at the top of the hill, and he is in the kitty litter at the moment, and that might be, I don't think it's day done, but he might have some damage. He got into the backside of Daniel Hernandez right into the rear attenuator.
That's not going to hurt. Once again, Adams putting pressure this time.
Oh, Burrell!
He's got past.
Burrell spinning.
Yeah, Burrell had to go off track a lot there, as you mentioned, and that's going to hurt. Oh, it's so unfortunate for Kevin.
And he's going to go right to toe, I think.
Yeah. I think that might be a retirement. I'm not quite sure. He is not doing. That car's not moving. Oh, that's so unfortunate. I would love to see more of that.
See what happened again. Let's go back and take a look at that. We were riding on board, Kevin, when it happened, and let's take a look here as they're coming down to the corner. He had a little help. He had a little bit of a boot. That was a little bit of a punt by Blocker. Inadvertent, I would say, by the way that Blocker hit him, but that was a bit of a punt.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course it was not, on purpose.
No.
But
it was definitely.
He sure should not. And, Kevin Burrell is not happy at all on the radio. He's, and understandably so.
It's always a dangerous place to try to get and overtake through your S's there.
Here comes Will Lime to avenge the teammate side by side at the top of the hill. Nope. Blocker holds the position.
That deal. And that brings RM3 back closer to this battle.
You got IAR cars. Was in the lead, just got booted out of the lead. Now we got IAR cars in second, fourth, sixth, and seventh. Power slide cars in first and third.
Will Lyon already has 12 incidents? RM3 11? Am I looking that right?
They might.
And Christian Apple had a crash as well. Again, a couple of them just not having a very good day, especially after using all those push to passes too. And it's going back into pit.
Well, I guess if you're going to have a quick day, you might as well use them all real early.
Yeah, it was contact going into the bus stop chicane. Actually, it was Christian was entering into the pit road. That's always a tricky pit lane entrance, depending which side you want to be on. He was on the correct side, of course, to go in the pit lane, so we didn't cut in front of everybody. It was just contact measured there.
Yeah, throwing the cars through the chicane, coming onto the flag straight here. Start-finish straight. Your top five is Blocker, Lyon, Malechka, Craig, and Brain. Orman, Wilhite, Hubler, Hernandez, and Bertrand, your top 10. 7 of 21. Yeah, it's 7 of 21, and we're looking at early pit stops if anyone's going to stop now.
Could be Einkemer, but yeah, I'm not sure that he's really gonna go for it. He's probably gonna just follow what the other guys do right here.
Will's gonna just decides to back off there into Lacombe. Thinks twice about it. You're gonna have to just bury the brake pedal right now through the floor if you want to be bold and brave on that one. It's just gonna compromise your exit out of Lacombe anyway. There is a no-name corner, but it has names. Most of these corners do have all names, depending on which variation you want to have it as. How good's your French?
Not.
I mean, I can defend myself. I was just in Belgium, actually.
Oh, you are?
No, I was.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago.
Did you go to Spa?
No, but I mean, I spoke a little bit of French, so
Yeah.
there we go. No Name has like 3 names, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. I'll tell you those in a second. I have it written down.
In the
It's
meantime,
Rouge as well too. It's called the Red. It's a Red Creek at the top of the hill. That's the reason why it's Eau Rouge. It's Red River.
right.
That's something people don't. You don't want to be into that, of course. If you do into that, you're in big trouble. Because one of the most dangerous corners is climbing up through Eau Rouge, just going to Camel Straight. That has seen many unfortunate incidents before in the past.
Now they have
up a little bit this year for Formula One.
Now they've actually reconfigured the track a little bit for
Yes, they
this
have.
coming race coming up. Have they not?
Yes, they did. They already had this year.
Okay. And what
Yeah,
were the
and they
key
renewed it,
changes?
too. Just widening some of the area off through Eau Rouge, I believe it was, like on the inside line there where you crash into Radion, I think.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's just stand there. I'm quite sure some of the other parts of the track that they did modify. Not a great deal. It was quite good too because they just got renewed, of course, for Formula One. Again, they didn't know whether or not they're going to get renewed. It would be very disappointing to the drivers as one of those favourites to not have this track, especially after they did those modifications. But of course, you do have many GT3 races and many other motorsports that do come to this track all year round. Wish IndyCar once again would, but
There's a couple tracks that when you just think of the Formula One calendar that you need to see. Monaco, of course. Silverstone, I would say.
Yeah, Monaco, but it's only because of
go-kart
history.
track these days. Come on.
Kubler does really
Yeah,
close
I
to
would
real
agree.
right there.
I mean, passing at Monaco is
What passing?
Yeah, what passing? But it's got to be part of the schedule. I guess they could maybe kick history in the teeth and do something and change it or something like that. But Spa definitely is one of those tracks that when you think of the schedule and you don't see it on there, you're probably going to be like, what's up?
What would be interesting too to see these Indy cars go around Austria, the Red Bull Ring.
Red Bull Ring,
yeah. But I wonder how they handle. Obviously, you just your constant turning suspension to your left and your right. It's more punishing because it's I think 9 to your left, 2 to your right, 3 to your right. Not many to your left. I mean, and most to the right. Yeah. So it'd be interesting, and it's certainly a thrilling track for most motor racing. It's always close, tight corners. Of course, not many of them. And
The
really,
races
really close
that
racing.
we've seen on the service with the cars at Red Bull Ring have all been pretty good. In fact, I think it was the RIL. Yeah, it was the Revolution Indy League, which we used to cover on Wednesdays. Still would if there was not an issue, but they had a race there 2 seasons ago. The cars did great. But that last corner is there's some generous off areas there when that first came out on the service, and very liberal off areas. And I guess one of the cars at the very end was right at the incident limit and did an off there, and it ended up putting that car at the limit. But because it was coming to the checker flag, they had to serve a time penalty instead. And that incident actually was the difference in the championship from where it placed the driver at the end of the race where he took the checkered flag to where they actually reclassified him because of the penalty. That was the points difference in the championship.
Oh wow!
Yeah, for the overall season.
Yeah. You don't mess with those track limits.
No.
Unfortunately, they catch you off in the.
Oh, this is one of them. And Blocker getting a little squirrely coming through 12 and 13.
I see that. He's trying to weave to break Will. Also, another nice battle brewing between Zachary still at the back, well, middle of the pack there, of course, 8th, and Daniel. I was going to say, I'm just so used to Formula 1, they're in the DRS range. So essentially, they're within a second, they're in DRS. You would see a lot more overtaking with the DRS down the Camel Straight because you get it available as long as you're within a second all time around. But I don't like it because it's also too much overtaking. It's very hard for the driver that's in the head leading the race. So, for example, Adam, very hard for him to be able to defend against that. But at least the push to passes, he can use it to defend. At the moment, he hasn't used any. Will hasn't used any. They're saving it all. But later, of course, for a surprise at the end, perhaps. After and
Hubler's coming in pit road right now.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea. So you could not get past that driver. Try to do it in the pit lane then, rather than do it on the track. Watching
him come down pit road. See that very sharp pit road entry.
It's a cliff too, mind you. It's literally a cliff with that wall. There's only that, and you're over the cliff and all the way down the hill. Thankfully, got that little bit of concrete barrier to protect you.
And he's down and away and done.
And he was a tiny bit faster than Chris Wheelheight that was in front of him. So now the only disadvantage that he has is that he's no longer going to have that free draft of being in the pack. So we'll probably see him use one of those push to pass. And there we go. He's actually on the button right now.
He's on the button right now up the hill.
Going up the hill, trying to make up as much time as he can. Maybe trying to catch up to those two cars in front of him. So that way he can get that free toe that is essentially what happens when you're riding behind somebody else. That's Rob Angelnix and Santiago Monente.
And that was at lap, coming to lap 10, at lap 9, he came into pit road there. So he is done for the race. Actually, he might have to change.
I see him on the primary, so yeah.
He might have to change his tires one more time. I don't know.
Yeah, that could have been a miscommunication with his team. They need to make a compound switch because otherwise they're not going to classify you. You're going to be disqualified. So he might have to come back into the pits for the red tires at the end of the race.
Back up.
Look at Icahn repeating now.
Yep, Icahn repeating. Back up front. Blocker and Lion. Everyone, thanks for joining us. The final broadcast for the year, for the foreseeable future. Make sure to smash the thumbs there for liking the broadcast. Leave a comment below. Leave a comment in chat. Let us know what you got on your mind. Would appreciate it. Above all else, if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to the channel.
About 9-second pit stop time in the box. Overall, you're looking at about 34 to 35. So that's what Adam and Will be well aware of. Robert pushed in a couple of nice banker laps there to get the fastest, but it's been replaced by Adam recently because under that attack. Still not using any of the push to passes between number 1 and number 2. That's right, number 1 and number 2 are the car numbers as well. So that's very ironic.
That is the highest rated and the second highest rated drivers in the split. That's how they get their number. So Blocker has the highest I rating. Will Line has the second highest I rating. P3 Kevin Burrell, unfortunately, his day is done. So his I rating is gonna go down a little bit. He'll probably want to try to audit this race, but I don't think he's gonna have time today. I think he has to go to the US 500 after this, but. We still have 16 cars running, I believe. And everybody 16. That is running is still on the lead lap.
Oh. Wait, Kevin's back out.
Kevin's coming back out, so he's going for some maybe Red Bull laps here.
Just on cue. I thought he was instantly jumping over for the next race, getting some practice in, but Kevin's like,
Nope.
I'm here, I'm committed. I've had my cool down spa, and now I'm back into the heat of the car.
So we show him currently on the prime tires at the moment. So there is a glitch in the software for iRacing. It is not always it's not always seen here, but you see it at other levels of IndyCar racing that involves a compound switch. You never physically see or graphically see the tire actually change its color throughout the entire race. The only way you know is through the timing and scoring. And right now, everybody is showing on the prime tires, with the exception of this person right here, Christian Nelpa. Nalipa is on the alternates at the moment. Nalipa is back in 16th. And he's been on these tires, or they have been on these tires for the last 11 laps.
Looks like, yes, correct. Was that an overtake? Zachary and Santiago.
Side by side up the hill. Great shot right there. Oof.
Yeah, you don't want to be going side by side through a Rouge, guys. That's where you end up in the hospital. Do that.
Oh, and and Hilbert is on the radio being like, "Hey, please don't hit me. I have a different strategy. Just don't force it."
I appreciate his honesty. I love it.
And it might have worked because Monente was side by side and then was like, okay, well, you get it.
You can do it. I've seen it a couple of times. even in Formula One side by side through there. It's bold. It's really, everybody has to fully commit to it. I mean, in Formula One, it's only really happened, I think, between Fernando Alonso and Mark Webber at one point. But if you want to see the Formula One cars battle at the moment, you can see Charles in the Mercedes livery up against the Renault livery of Daniel.
There we go. We're going to take a look at this one right here. And also involved in this, Chris Wilhite with Team IAR. This is a battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th. Oh, Hernandez
to the inside and the bus stop.
Oh, Hernandez.
And now he's fitting.
Yeah, he's going to the pit. Yeah, he's going to go to the pit. Yeah.
But Wilhite lost the spot there to Bertrand because he was on his window.
Oh, wow. Wilhite lost 2 spots because, so he lost the spot to Hernandez and Bertrand because he was in the wrong place to come into pit road.
Yeah, Wilhite is not happy. Not happy at all.
Yeah, that's usually the ones in the driver's briefings that you sit there and talk about that and make sure that you're not cutting across the entrance. The same thing in like Monza and some of those other tracks too. Entrances. So you see pit road's pretty busy at the moment.
Yeah, it is real busy. Wilhite does get away over Bertrand, so he only lost the 1 position to Hernandez. Bertrand was in there for a long stop.
And I'm sure he's right now seeing blood in the water. Like, he's going to go all out to try and pass back Daniel Hernandez there in front of him.
I got to wait for those tires. It comes the temperature on the alternate tires with 9 laps to go here already.
Well, is he going to go for it? That's the question.
Oh.
You know, he's way smarter than me. I would have sent it. I'd probably caused an accident.
Yeah, no. He's got a couple more push to passes, and once again try down the Camel Straight and then get him into Lacombe. Now he's got to go around again for another lap.
While we watch this battle, if you're just joining us, this is a race first coverage of the Saturday 1 p.m. Eastern top split of the U.S. Open Wheel B Dallara IR18 Series Championship, coming to you from Spa. We've completed. Well, we got now 9 laps to go, so we're just almost done. So if you're enjoying us and would like to monetarily support our commentary team, make sure this is the last chance. You donate via our GoFundMe link in the description, or in your convenience, you can send us super chat tips right here through YouTube. Just click on the dollar bill icon at the bottom of the chat window, and it'll tell you how to do it. We appreciate everybody watching and sticking with us for this last year and a half of covering IndyCar action here on Race First.
Yeah, Gary, top 7 all in pit road. Top
Blocker,
6.
Lyon, Maleska, Rashad Craig, Josh Brain, and Jesper Orman. Blocker gets the bid out of everyone. He's the first one out. Lyon following him.
And watching all those cars empty off pit road right now. Orman, the last car.
Looks like Rashad Craig was able to get by Josh Brain there in the pits.
Yeah, we'll reset the field here momentarily. All our stops are done. Everybody's on the prime tires at the moment, with the exception of Hubler. And we think that's an error. We could be wrong. But Blocker, Lyon, Malechka, RM3 is your top 3. Craig, Brain, Orman, your top 6. Hubler, 7th. Wilhite, 8th. Hernandez, 9th. And Bertrand, 10th. Question is still in the air on Hubler. Did he have I don't think he had an earlier stop where he changed his compound, so he's going to have to stop again. So that's going to move Wilhite up 1 if Wilhite just remains patient.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a mishap by his team. He's still showing on the primary. He was on the primary before that. So unless he has some really weird strategy where he wanted to be pitting twice, that's a mistake.
It could be a fault. I have seen it sometimes before in IndyCars on this track as well. So I'll have to wait and see. But yeah, visually, it does look like he's still on the primaries.
Yeah, and on timing and scoring as well. So, but yeah, you're right. We'll see. In the meantime, Wilhite was able to get by Hernandez there, and now he's putting a little bit of room between both of them.
We're watching that battle right here. Wilhite on push to pass. Right now, your leaders have their full assortment of 10. First and second have not used a single push to pass yet. I would imagine here in the next 2 laps or so, you'll start seeing them use them.
Yeah, they're gonna
just to let everybody know out there, if you've obviously got your spotters, as your spotters are aware of the push to passes that the other team players have, the other members.
Yeah,
drivers?
you can see on the depending on what overlays that you run, that is information you can see, and you can also see when those drivers execute the push to pass, so you can tell your driver to defend if you have to. I don't know if that's really a real thing in real racing that you can actually see that. So that might be a bit of a video game advantage that these spotters have for drivers, because I don't think they have that in real racing.
Yeah, if TV broadcasting, you'd know it on TV broadcasting, but probably be a little bit delayed, but not specifically telling you exactly.
Now, on the old DW12, it was an interesting thing. The DW12s, they had an LED panel right on the airbox where the number is. And the LED panel would show a number of additional data during the race for fans to see, and one of which, if the driver was on push to pass, that LED panel would light up with a green number in it. And also the LED panel also would give the time for pit stops and everything. That was kind of a handy thing. That did not make it to the IR18, but I do remember the LED panel was something pretty handy, I thought.
Yeah, and it looked cool, especially on night races.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In the meantime, Olivia Hayward is closing in on Lucas Einkemer there. That's for P12. Last time by, Olivia Hayward was 2 seconds faster than Lucas, so maybe something happened to Einkemer there.
Einkemer's on the prime tire. Remember, he started on the alternate tire, so he is he's made his bed, now he has to sleep in it, because here comes Olivia Hayward with the brand spanking new red tires, and she's going to put the hurt to him here, maybe in the chicane. We'll see.
Oh, goes through Blanchimont real quick. They're both on the bottom.
Oh, look how just the braking area difference. Oh, hits the curb.
You can check in, but you can also maybe never check it out again. That's what happens at the bus stop chicane.
It's like the Hotel California.
Exactly.
And an interesting situation.
Olivia now has to get on the power, just push to pass as much as possible and try down here. Go ahead.
That was it. They're both on the button again. That was Lucas Einkemer's last use of the button, and Olivia still has 5 more.
Yeah, Einkemer is Winchester. Hayward on the button.
And getting the draft help as well, so this is probably going to be tough.
Yeah,
on the outside.
That's on the racing line, but yeah, just can't. So a little bit good defending, you'd have to say, from Lucas.
Yeah, but now she has the advantage. Now she needs to be a little patient and just wait until the backstretch and use it on Blanchimont again. She should be able to complete the pass.
You can see they're comfortable too, like the car's just hugging the road a lot more than Lucas's car up the road there, because there's so much more trust in your tires.
Yeah.
The four little black things on the side there that contact the road. Pretty much the most important thing of your motor vehicle. Remember, you kind of need them.
And a little bit of a mishap from Olivia Hayward there. She lost around 5/10. She was really close to Einkemer. Got wide a tiny bit.
Might have got a penalty, a slowdown penalty. I don't know.
It could be as well. It's horrible when you think you nailed it, but then you get that slowdown penalty. It's like, oh no. Blocker and Lion, they're now both on the button, so they're starting to use it. It's 5 to go, 4 to go.
I said it'll be right about 5 to go. We'll start seeing these guys use the button, and right on cue. And they have broken away from Robert Malechka very much. I mean, we're watching a replay of Friday's race right now.
Yep, pretty much.
And meanwhile, Kevin, that had came back out lonely, had a, I don't believe it was a crash. Sometimes it registers as a crash if the pit lane entrance. But he's back in the pit road. Obviously not a happy camper.
Yeah,
he's gone straight on and completely murdered the car. Yeah, it is, so that's just an anger.
At that point, that's when you mail it in. You say, okay, all right, let's before I really tempt fate. I think he has a race later after this that he wants to make sure he's in a right frame of mind for, because that's the big one coming up here, the U.S. 500, one of the final 500s of, well, broadcasted 500s for a while. We will see
Yeah, you'll be spotting, aren't you, I believe?
I will be spotting for my good pal Jesper Orman, and he put the camera on him. There he is in a battle with Josh Brain for P5.
Getting really close to Josh Brain there.
And meanwhile, too, at the top of the timesheets there, Will is using extra push-to-passes. We know they have to because you've got 5 laps to go. So, hey, you've got 8 push-to-passes. You do your math on that one. This is his time to just go, go, go. He's very close, half a second to Adam, but that's practically the closest he's been in many, many laps now. He's got to start applying that pressure. See, even force Adam into a mistake, but it doesn't look like Adam gets forced into mistakes very often.
No.
In the lead of this race. But this is now Will's time to shine if he wants to do something about Spa.
Adam's going to automatically to the snake here, trying to break the draft.
And last time by, you guys are not going to believe it, both Adam Blocker and Will Lyon, 155.7 flat. That's it. Identical lap time.
You are right. You're right. Here it is. A 155.697 for Blocker, a 155.696 for Lyon. That's how close that lap was.
That's amazing, isn't it? Considering it's one of the longest tracks, and you've got to go, as I said, like what, 4.4 miles you've gone, and they can get an identical lap times?
And they're off by 1,000th.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Looks like Hubler ran into the pits again. So there we go. I'm not showing him in the alternates. So
no, I am seeing him on the primes, or excuse me, on the alternates as well. So he has fulfilled the regulations. He is good to go. He's good to go to the end.
What if we tune into his cockpit right now? I bet you there's a few words like that to his teammates, to his team there, saying, guys, you put the wrong tires. Well, Will right now needs to do something about his tires. He needs to crank it up. He got about to 4/10. Almost thought about an overtake there. Set the dummy, per se, as you do, into Lacombe. That's when you pretend, fill up your opponent's mirrors full of a car, make him think you're about to make an overtake there. When you don't, you back off. Try to force Adam into a mistake. So far, Adam's cool, calm, and collective.
That's called a dummy? That's called a dummy?
And, yeah, I call it a dummy. I've just coined that term.
I call it pump fake.
Pump fake, there you go.
Coming out of the chicane, Blocker gets a little squirrely. 4 to go.
Yeah, a tiny bit squirrely, but he has the advantage in the push-to-pass situation. He has 7 for Lyons 6.
Yeah, use it now. I was going to say, use it now.
And Lyon is on the button.
Yeah, they're going to be using it both here, going to Eau Rouge, and then going to Blanchimont there on the backstretch. They can use them all. They're going to be fine.
So they were riding with Will Lyon right now. That you see on his dash there, the green border around his LED readout or LCD readout, and lets them know that he's on push to pass.
Yeah, how long to the activation time for that? Because I was thinking maybe you could have used it going to La Source earlier, but that would have affected the
You can use it as soon as you're done. So there's no cooldown period about using a push to pass like there is in, Antonio and I know in covering the Brazilian stock cars. There's like a 50-second cooldown period there before you can use it again. So in some cases on the Brazilian stock cars, you can only use it one every other lap. Here you could use it as long as you have them. And
you're going to spam it.
Right, and the second you let off or you shift is when push to pass turns itself off. But it's good for 20 seconds.
Well, now he should be using one soon, I'd imagine, because they're just using it straight out of La Source. And if I was there, I'd be using it probably somewhere around here. You want to get as close as possible to the bus stop chicane.
Oh, watching them right now.
And around here, there we go.
Adam's
on the bottom, both of them. And that's the thing. Adam right now has one more press of the bottom than Will Lyon, so he's going to be able to defend all of these moves that Will is going to be attempting. They know that the places that you want to use it are here and on the Camel Straight. And with 2 to go, he's going to be able to use them both times.
See, I would use one here. I'm not quite sure why they're not using one here, because you want to get as close as you can out of La Source, because that way you can chase him up, get that slipstream through Eau Rouge and Radion. And then, of course, he'll also be, Adam at that point would be using one, but they're not using it there, which is what surprised me. I was kind of asking about. Now, Will is using it there at the exit
on the button.
Source.
Yep.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Adam.
Will cannot use it anymore there on the front stretch going to La Source, because he's down to 3. This is
he's got the draft.
He only has to be left.
He's got the draft. He's right there. He's going to be as close as he's been in about the last 2 laps here, coming up to the top of the hill into the chicane.
You've got to be essentially, really, when you come over Radion, you've got to be within about half a second at least to the car in front. And then, obviously the push to passes stuff, but then you're half a second with that drag, with the slipstream, you should get to about 1/10 before Lacombe. That's the kind of the rule of laws here in Spa.
I'm thinking these power slide cars have a little bit more downforce on them than the IAR cars right now. I'm watching them through these more twistier portions up into the forest here. Blocker seems to be pulling away.
Yeah, and
but
then on the straights, Will gets super close.
Yeah, as soon as they hit the straight, you're right. Will gets a lot closer.
But I agree with you, Dean. I would do something different, because at this point, Adam Blocker knows exactly when you're going to press it, right? Like, you're pressing it right now here, entering Blanchimont. So that's expected. And then you're going to do the same thing, entering Eau Rouge. And again, that's expected. So perhaps do it on the front stretch, entering La Source, and throw him off balance. Right now, he needed to do it to get closer.
Yeah, at a bus stop, perhaps. But then again, I don't know. Are you going to put too much overspeed going in La Source then if you do? Because you push the pass will still be activated then. Then you got to press it straight after La Source too.
Final lap.
Yeah, how long is the activation time going to be the key? Yeah.
Well, the bottom lasts 10 seconds, or until you lift off the throttle. But they're both on the bottom right now.
So he's got to use it twice now, I'd say. Go for it here. So once that 10 seconds, he should have activated it maybe a bit earlier, and then activate it straight away again. Still in that activation.
Yeah, not right now. Yeah.
Do it, not doing it there. It's too late then, because now he's going to be covered off, of course, down a...
Yeah, he got really close.
Yeah, he did.
Now, it seems easier than done, but we're not drivers, are we? Because we're a whole game inside the cockpit.
Now, there are some tracks that you can race IndyCar here on the surface, that when you hit that push-to-pass button, it will run out by the time while you're still on a straight. Le Mans is one of those tracks where you get on the one of those straights and you smack the button. The straight is so long, the push-to-pass will turn itself off before you even get to a shift or a braking zone.
That's very true. Yeah, there's long straights in Le Mans. But there's a very long straight, and there's a little bit of a kink in there, isn't it? And then there's another long straight. You get to know all those corners if you do Le Mans 24 hours a few times.
Power slide through the corner
Lion,
there
Lion
for
was 14. Everything.
Yeah, he's letting it all hang out here. But Blocker, just a couple more turns to go through 16, 17, coming up to the chicane. Looking to go 2 for 2 for Friday and Saturday. And the last televised Indy Open race that we're going to see for a while. Into the chicane. A right, a left, back on the power. And staring at a checkered flag is Adam Blocker for the final win of the Indy Open broadcast season, let's say that. Maybe we shall see here in the future, depending on what happens between iRacing and IndyCar. But that is it for the foreseeable future. Adam Blocker gets the last dub here on Raceverse.
And Wheelhead going to the inside of Hernandez on the chicane. That's they touch a tiny bit. Yeah, Hernandez get the best of him.
Hernandez did,
he comes on P7. Oh, Wheelhead not happy. Just demolished Hernandez. Oh, man.
Well, and interesting enough, that counts as incidents if everyone has not taken a checkered flag by that point. So, and that also might be protestable. So, I don't want to say anything bad because I really like Chris, but he's had himself a rough day. But let's take a look at today's final stats here, final standings here from Spa in Belgium.
Francorchamps.
I've given up on trying to. Francorchamps.
Put a little.
Yeah, sound like Pepe Le Pew. All right, there we go. Adam Blocker is your winner as he goes 2 for 2 on Friday and Saturday. Will Lyon goes 2 for 2. In fact, he would have won here twice if it wasn't for Adam Blocker. We'll talk to Will here in momentarily. And I think Malechka goes 2 for 2 on the third step of the podium for Friday and Saturday. So good on him. Craig 4th, Brain 5th. Orman, Hernandez, Wilhite. We saw that Hernandez-Wilhite battle coming to the checker there. That's the 7th and 8th. Bertrand 9th. Hubler 10th. And that's after having to make an extra stop. So a top 10 for Hubler after an extra stop. Hey, my man Dave Greenville 11th. Eichemer 12th. Olivia Hayward 13th. Montani 14th. And Nelpa 15th. And we got another page here. Uglix 16th, Kevin Burrell 17th. That's kind of disappointing for him, and he'll want to forget this one. And Charlie Gray 18th.
So there's your cool down for Spa. You can actually go. Spa, of course, named after its famous spas. Lots of them back in the Roman period.
And the on the European continent, I've actually traveled there. Now you have too, Antonio. You know they love their spas, whether they are clothed or not. They love their spas. That was an eye opener for 16-year-old Gary when he went to Germany and they took me to a spa. It's like, whoa, what is going on here? No, I am not participating.
Nightmares as well, too, probably.
Well, it all depends on what was looked at, I guess. And we do have all three in the interview room. Let's bring up Robert Malechka, RM3, who finishes 3rd. Hey, Robert, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a part of the final Indy Open. We'll just call it for what it is. The Indy Open Strength of Field race broadcast. P3, I think that's kind of what you finished yesterday. Kind of maximized on that third step of the podium here. But talk about your race.
Yeah, kind of, I guess, little backstory. We were getting ready for this US 500 coming up today,
Right.
Adam's like, yeah, I'm gonna jump in and do the spa event, and I'm like, oh, okay. I was thinking about it, and then he said it's split. I'm like, sure. So jumped in. My first laps of the day at spa were in qualifying, so I was very shocked that I got even P4. And first 3-4 laps, just kind of getting used to it on kind of both of the tires. So that's where I mainly struggled. But yeah. Kevin and Will were on different rear downforce than us, so they were just rocket ships. So it was Adam and I were both talking like we were really struggling to find our braking points because their draft, they were just like I said, just complete rocket ships. But yeah, then they broke away. I kind of settled in and tried to save my tires and click off some good laps and brought it home P3.
I will make it really quick for you because I think the US 500 session has already started, so I think you might want to hop on over to that. Normally would ask you some more questions, but I believe that's the bigger race of the day that everyone's after, so we'll let you go early. Any shout-outs, anybody you want to say hi to, thanks to, friends, family, sponsors, you name it, go right ahead. You got the microphone.
Yeah, really, thank you to you guys at Race First, picking up the broadcast. This series, especially the Open Series, really kind of struggled to get a second or third really solid SOF, and thankful for you guys to give us that broadcast and get us a solid SOF, so people that can't really compete on the Monday nights are able to compete on another night. So thank you guys for that.
No problem. We thank you for being a part of it, being here, checking in with us at the end for the interview. Good luck to you at Michigan. I believe that's your home track, isn't it? So I suspect that you will do very well there. So we'll be seeing that on another broadcast here very shortly. But congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah. All right. Let's bring up Will Lyon. Hey, Will, congratulations on second place. You would have 2 wins if it wasn't for Adam Blocker.
I know, right? Someone needs to put some sandbags in that guy's car,
Well, tell us about your race. You kind of had some pace there early as you were fighting with your teammate, Kevin. Kevin kind of had his own thing. We saw that in the broadcast. But soon as it seemed like Blocker got around you, you were just never able to quite get back up to him again. You got close. I think that you were running with a lot less downforce than he was.
Yeah, we were just discussing that in the interview room there, and yeah, it turns out I had way too little downforce. But yeah, in terms of the race, I was quite happy sitting behind Kevin. I just wanted to save fuel and go the extra lap. So I wasn't really that bothered about leading because I knew I wouldn't be able to pull away from Kevin if I did overtake him at any point. So yeah, I was quite surprised by Adam and Robert's aggressiveness, but then I kind of thought to myself, well, Adam did fall back a little bit yesterday, and it kind of cost him. Although he still won, it did cost him quite a lot of time. So I guess they were just trying to push to the front today. So Adam got past me, and I couldn't really do anything. it was quite frustrating. I had a little bit more pace on the straights, closed up to him, and then lost it all again in sector 2. So yeah, it was probably quite a dull one to watch, to be honest. But I just tried my best as quick as I could, and it's always good when you can see the rear end of Adam Blocker at the end of a race. You've had a good pace.
No, within sight, or at least within a second of it. Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
Congratulations. We want to get him up here because I think he's going to the. Are you doing the US 500?
I'm not able to make it, but I'll be tuning in if I can.
All right. So I know he has I know he'll be in the US 500, so we'll get him up here momentarily. But
Exactly.
before we let you go, man, you did earn it. So you got shout outs. I know you got a team you want to thank. You got sponsors, fans, friends, family. Go right ahead. The microphone is yours.
Big thanks to everyone at Indy Alliance, and just a shout out to my partner Denise and our 2-week-old son Michael.
Right.
So
all right.
yeah, that's why I can't do US 500.
Oh.
Not enough time.
Well, the Santa and the Stork apparently made a visit to the Lion household. So
Exactly.
Congratulations.
Cheers, guys.
We will see you. Well, I know you and I will talk before then. We will hopefully, when they get this all hammered out rights-wise, we will see you in the future. But, hey, man, thanks for being a part of it. You've been a lot of fun.
Cheers, guys. All
Thanks.
the best.
And let's bring up Adam Blocker. Hey, Adam, congratulations, 2 for 2 Friday and Saturday. I know you got a US 500 that you're going to need to get ready for, so we'll make it as quick as possible for you. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, it was interesting. First, the conditions today were really a lot grippier than yesterday. As you saw, the pole time, I think, was about a second faster. And that kind of caught me out. I kind of underdrove some of the corners in qualifying. But, yeah, and then starting on the inside there is always going to be tough, so Will got the jump on me at the start, and then they were really trimmed out, kind of similar to yesterday, me versus Will. But yeah, I had some good racing with Will early on. We went wheel to wheel a few times and kept it clean. Wheel to wheel through Lake Home in the final move. I passed him, so that was a lot of good racing. And then Kevin, I knew I had to get past him because I felt like I could have gotten the gap, and in the end, I think it was just an unfortunate 50-50 incident because I think I could have left a little bit more room on the inside, but I think also he turned in earlier than he normally would by a good bit to try to cover me off, kind of in reaction. So
Sure.
yeah, it was just a bit unfortunate. It wasn't heavy contact, so I was honestly surprised he got damaged from it. But yeah, it's just unfortunate how that went. But
So I know that session is getting ready to start, or it's already started, I believe. So we do want to get you on your way. I'm sure you got some shout outs you want to make for the win, the teammates, sponsors, friends, family, friends, that type of thing. Anybody you want to say hi to, go right ahead. The microphone is yours, sir.
yeah, I just want to thank everybody at Power Slide for working on the set. Yeah, definitely had a good car both days, and yeah, hopefully we do well coming up here in the US 500. And yeah, I just want to thank you guys for covering the series. I know you guys really are really passionate about the IndyCar and the IndyCar community, and just like all of us that race it. So it's really cool. And yeah, hopefully hopefully this isn't the last IndyCar broadcast on Race First, but we'll see how things go.
We agree. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for being a part of it.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say real quick, do you need a spotter? I'm available.
No, I'm good for today.
Okay.
Thanks,
Adam's like, I got this. Well, thanks a lot, Adam. Thanks for being a part of the broadcast. Thanks for popping up and saying hi to us when we know that you got a big race that you're getting ready for. Congratulations and best of luck at Michigan. And you're right. Hopefully, if the licensing masters get things straightened out, we'll be seeing you and the rest of these guys here. Fingers crossed, relatively soon. But congratulations and good luck.
Yeah, see you guys sometime. Thanks.
Yep. All right, guys. So I needed to get them out of there so they could go to their US 500 session. But starting with you, Antonio. Well, actually, let's start with Dean. Dean's the new guy. Dean, thoughts of IndyCars at Spa here, and then, you know, just your general thoughts overall for joining us for just a couple broadcasts. It was hoped to be more because you're kind of wanting to get the oval side of the business from us. And what do we do for our last one? We bring you in to learn from you on the road course. So tell us about your experience.
Oh, it was fun. It was fun. There's some good racing there. Obviously, not Kevin's day, because that would have been a three-way fight, I think, at the top there, top of the timesheets there for some time. But overall, it's just it's great to see the difference between the Indy cars and obviously the Formula 1 cars and GT3 cars and all that jazz around Spa. Once again, yeah, a more oval experience would be better, but you know, it's sad to say it might not be happening anytime in the future.
Oh, we'll get. No, I think at some point we'll get there. We'll get. Oh no, the pleasure is ours, man. Thanks for being a part of it and everything, and making the broadcast just that much better. Antonio, man, me and you have done these quite a bit. And it looks like we have to hit the pause button on this for a while.
Yeah, man, quite a bit. It's sad, but I think we're gonna be able to come back. I think, and I hope that this situation, this entire licensing thing, is gonna get itself sorted out at some point in the near future, and we'll be back once that happens. As for Spa, I think it was a great race. I mean, I think we talked about it, especially offline. We were, fearful of a couple of races that they would go like entirely green, and people would separate each other from and get super far away from each other, and just be processions or things like that. And we never saw that. We never saw that with any of the races that we covered, and that also goes in, to remind how good of a car the IndyCar is,
yeah,
and how great of a community we have behind it, because everyone is so competitive. They are one-upping each other the entire time. You have Powers, like you have IAR, you have Team Distinct, and all these other guys that are really, really good. And we will miss covering this for you, but we'll still be around. We'll still be part of the community. We'll still be racing. We'll still be doing things. And yeah, this is a see you soon.
Right, exactly. Well, just a couple of meaningful words from me before we go. It was just over a year ago when I pitched the idea to Race First owner Matt Houston that we cover the Fixed Series, because the Open had a good broadcast, and we wanted to cover the action of the Fixed Series and give those guys a chance to shine. And we did well there, and expanded to covering the IIS, and then expanded to doing the second split for the Indy Open, and in a time where they needed another broadcast. We just did it. We're not doing it for the money. We're not doing it for anything. We'll take donations. We know these things aren't cheap, and we always say they're hard to do. But I frankly would do these for free all time, because I have a huge passion, and everyone here at Raceverse has a huge passion for IndyCar. And the fact that we're in pretty much an IndyCar-only network, we live by IndyCar and die by IndyCar, of course, but we definitely all have one undeniable thing, and that is a huge passion for the sport of IndyCar. And we say it in our motto, we know what Indy means, because we've all stepped inside of the hallowed halls of the Speedway, underneath that tunnel into the infield, and you look around, and that first feeling you have, we've all been there, and we know what that passion, we know what that feeling's been like. And that's what we want to bring to you, the excitement and the heritage of IndyCar racing, whether that goes back to AAA or USAC, whether it be whoever side that you were on for the kart or IRL split, whatever. It's all the same to us. It's IndyCar racing, and we just love it. And while it pains us a little bit that we won't be able to bring any more to you for a while until the license masters get things straightened out, we do know that we will be back. And that is how I want to kind of end this today, is as we will be back. So that's it for today. Once again, your podium from Spa is Adam Blocker is the winner. Will Lyon, P2, and Robert Molechka, the third, RM3 there at P3. Hey, we say it over and over again. We love bringing these races to you, but not easy and require time and money to produce. So if you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of just everything we've done, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our broadcast fund. Also, you can become a Race First Patreon member today. Visit patreon.com/racefirst to become a member. We realize times are tough, so any contribution will be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and make us part of your Saturdays each and every week. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support Race First with the weekly grind. This is the last time you get a chance. Leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of today's race, and if you enjoyed today's coverage, just give us the old thumbs up. That's the best thing you can do. And if you're new and you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe, and you'll find out when we'll be back. And there will be a next time. And in the words of Def Leppard, yes, there will be a next time. So when iRacing IndyCar broadcasting resumes, keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing racers. We've told you over and over, we know what Indy means. For business inquiries to learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. You can follow all of us on Twitter via our handles right here at the bottom of the page. As Marty Reed, who for ABC used to be the play-by-play guy for ABC when IndyCar was on there, once famously said, many people ask him why he signs off until we meet again. And he says it's because goodbye is always so final. So on that note, for Antonio Estrada, Dean Hopkins, everyone here at Race First, I am Gary Gazzo saying all good night. Thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Good night. And until we meet again.